Okay, Hadid family. This guy right here has been saying for a couple years now, and he says right here, I'm convinced that all of the issues that we suffer from in this world can be rooted to the broken heads and hearts of individuals. If we could go trace all of that down, we'd take care of the planet. We'd be taking care of the animals on the planet. We would be taking care of each other and ourselves. We'd be doing that because we would not be acting out of our unhealed traumas or allowing ourselves to be led around by our broken egos in a constant state of fearing and fighting, which is ultimately where all of our issues lie. But if we can all acknowledge these traumas and seek to heal and free ourselves from them, then perhaps we can start to truly listen to each other, learn from each other, and radically love each other. This is my prayer. So, I'm not an expert therapist, pastor, teacher, or monk. I am merely a person going through my own mental and emotional health journey, hoping that I can pass on some of the wisdom and tools that I've been blessed enough to learn along the way. And I truly believe that if we can help heal the hearts and minds of everyone on earth, we will solve every other problem known to man in the process. Okay, I came to the same conclusion a little over 20 years ago when I spent several months at UCLA reading all about post-traumatic stress and copying thousands of pages. So there's a bunch of other people who think the same thing. I got all their books here. Right here. Let's see. Lost Boys. Why Our Sons Turn Violent and How We Can Save Them. James Garbarino, PhD. Violence. Reflections on Our Deadly Epidemic and Its Causes. James Gilligan, MD. Harvard. Head of the Massachusetts prison system, where he reduced a lot of the violence there with his program and ideas. Biology of Violence. Great book, Deborah Nayhoff. Understanding how brain behavior and environment can break the vicious circle of aggression. So that's what's happening in the Middle East. That's what you guys are experiencing here with those death threats, with the stalkers over the last 10 years. Your best friend Taylor Swift, how many stalkers? 20? More than 20? Okay. So, healing traumas. Daniel Siegel, UCLA. Let's talk to him. So for 20 years, I've been trying to just break the story. What's the cause? What's the cure for these problems we're all enduring? I could do that with your help. You got millions of Twitter followers. One little da-da-da-da. Okay, but it's taken me this long to get through to you. So Paris wants to free hundreds of thousands of kids who are trapped in abusive mental health systems. It's actually millions. Okay, so we can do it together. All right, I found the causes and the cures. I found the experts who know what the causes and the cures are. Dr. Bruce Perry, Born for Love. Empathy, why empathy is essential and endangered. All you have a lot of empathy. That causes you to have a lot of stress because you look out at the world around you, you see people suffering and you feel for them, and your stress goes through the roof. You speak out about it, and then the criminals that are causing these problems maybe are causing a bunch of problems for you. So, if we come together, we can fix the problem. How are we going to do that? By teaming up. Teaming up. A small team. I'm thinking 10 men, 10 women who are on a mission. They got their support crew also. So, talking about the solutions, talking about the problems. So 2 critical issues. Okay, number 1 is your safety. And number 2 is your financial situation. So, Mr. Hadid, you have been harassed and bankrupt. But there's a dozen different ways that things could radically turn around in the next few months, in the next few weeks, to change that situation. Okay? So, safety. Well, you're under threat. And so that's like as bad as being dead. Okay? I went through it with my crazy neighbors who threatened us for months, death threats, and, you know, a veteran who was in war in Iraq on some drugs. It's a long story, but they're connected to his former boss works for Trump, and I gave his former boss some of my proposals, and this head of a big church, and it's a long story. But when you're trying to challenge these things, a bunch of shit happens to you. All right? But I figured out how to win. That's what's critical. Win. If you win, it'll be all over. Don't tolerate, you can't live this way anymore. All right? You got to put your mind to winning. All right? I'm trying to motor mouth through it right now, but we need to get together and I can explain it in detail. So, your safety is going to be fine if you guys stick together. All right? We got like a month here of like hardcore coming together with 10, 20, 30, 40 amazing people that want to make a difference and want to take a stand and get the whole world's attention. Okay, I got 10 kill shots to knock out the people that are causing the situation in Palestine. All right, I understand the octopus of corruption, which is behind it and controlling it. If we all come together, we can explain it. We can bring in 10. We can bring in 10 other people who are highly credible and know exactly what's going on with that system, that rotten system. So, safety. If we come together, Palazzo di Amor, 25 acres up in Beverly Hills, we come together for a month. We hang out there. We're going to bring together and do some conferences. We're going to talk to the people in the Middle East. Okay, if you guys are sticking together with, you know, a group of your best friends, you know, you're going to be safe, I think. But, you know, I'm not scared of death, so, you know, I have a warped perception. Okay, to tell you the truth, like, okay, when you never lived, you're not feared of death, all right? When you've been suffering as long as I have, deprivation. Besides that, what I heard is if you've met God, you're not afraid of any man or death, all right? So here's my Bible, all right? I met God, all right? I'm not afraid. So, but anyway, the thing is, killing you would have brought attention to what you were saying. That's why they didn't kill you. They threatened you to shut you up, to stress you out. So you sit at home and you're like stressed out, okay, freaked out, okay? But, you know, I don't know, something like stress reducing for me about coming together, talk about the cure. And on the other side of the cure is radical stress reduction. So the fact is, there's a bunch of people at the top, and I know their whole system. So my friend wrote this, was the publisher of this book, Erwin Pardue. He was the CIA liaison in the White House under JFK. And I met him back in the early 1980s. Got to know him for 20 years, and he told me a bunch of things, and he introduced me to some really interesting people. I learned from them just enough to win. Okay? What else? Let me think. Of critical importance. I've been trying to, you know, brainstorming about the Hadid family for about 7 years. So, Tracy Reiner agreed to jump on board and help me out, and we worked together on trying to do all this back then. And, you know, I brought it up to her. She was doing this thing with Major League Baseball about including women and girls in baseball. And so I said, why don't we do this thing? Some women baseball teams like Gigi Hadid and, you know, Taylor Swift playing baseball with other women teams stopping women